All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nebula's sixth launch of Gamma. We are going to be launching 3A-SAT on its mission to medium Earth orbit. Sorry about my butchering of speech, but um, today is uh, today is the 26th of June. We are going to be launching it at 3 o'clock p.m. EST, and uh, if we have any problems with the rocket, if we have any problems with Gamma, we will be able to recycle in our launch window, because our launch window actually spans from 3 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, Gamma will be lifting off. I already said that. Sorry about that. Um, don't really do commentations, but I'm gonna be covering today just because we don't have many staff available for today's launch. Um, for those for those of which who couldn't make it to the regular launch, to the in-game launch, we thank you for choosing this as your secondary option. I will be commentating on and off, but I'm gonna really quick let you guys know what's going to be upcoming with the processes in today's launch. So uh, currently the rocket is Gamma is on the pad, situated connected to a transporter erector, which is the strongback. Strongback actually is what feeds the fuel into the rocket. Um, Currently our tank farm is running and super chilling the propellants. The propellants are super chilled, and we will be doing, I don't remember, but we will in fact be doing propellant propellant loading within the next 15 minutes. So expect that, and we will see the rocket get even more and more, give off more and more what uh, looks like smoke. It's actually the rocket's very cold. It's condensating. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that, more and more of that as closer you get to T0. Um, we will So that is pretty much the launch procedures. We will be having an RCS test as we do every single launch, um, at around T minus 23 minutes, to check if the RCS is stable enough for suborbital movement of the booster, so we could, the booster, orientate the booster so that it can boost back towards the landing zones. Uh, uh, Besides that, I thank you all for choosing this as a secondary viewing option, a secondary source for Gamma's launch. Thank you all for coming, and I just I'm very excited. It's a very exciting launch, so thank you all for tuning in. I'm back again. Um, so I'm gonna let you guys know actually what 3A-SAT is and what it does. 3A-SAT isn't a company satellite that is ours. It was bought by another company, and 3A-SAT is a communications satellite that helps strengthen communications around the world. We've actually launched a few of these. Um, this will be launched to medium. Jesus, I'm just not gonna say anymore. But um, it's 3A-SAT's communications satellite helps strengthen communications around the world. Um, it just helps better to strengthen these communications, internet, anything that has to do with connecting to services online. It's a very good. It just strengthens that. I'm not very into all this. I'm not very into these payloads. I'm sure most of the companies who make these are absolutely screaming at me right now for not really knowing all about it, but I am more in charge of getting these payloads to orbit. So if you guys don't know me already, this is the voice of Sir Barnacle. I'm the CEO. I'm the founder and CEO of Nebula. Uh, so uh, I'm gonna be commentating somewhat on the stream. Obviously, I'm not made for this job. I'm not really into commentating. That's why I'm very much not really knowing what to say or losing my mind. So, uh, that's what's happening. That's just So, if anybody of you have questions, I'll be open to answering them, as I know almost everything about Nebula. Not exactly into detail, but I know about future plans, obviously, and uh, things like that. So if anyone has questions in the chat, please shoot those questions, and I will be sure to answer them, because it's very important. If you guys have any questions, it'd be great if you guys want to get them across. We've had a question in the chat from Isaac the Swede. Um, when do you expect to get beta in construction and stuff like that? Well, actually, currently beta is in construction. So, oh, there we have it. Gamma's venting. So we have our first vent. So propellant is loading. Back to the question. Beta's currently in construction. Actually, we are working on prototypes. Just like we're working on materializing and figuring out exactly how to get this up to production standards. And once we have these up to production standards, and Gamma is actually having reusability. Once we can do that, we're actually going to start concentrating on beta, turning our focus towards beta. So I would expect sometime around I would guess this summer. We'll have beta roll out to the pad for the first time. We'll have not a full beta. We'll have the beta hopper, which will probably hop once or twice, and then we'll move on to prototypes in which we'll actually slowly build up and up and up until we get to the up to the main into the main rocket, which is beta itself. So I expect I'd say end of summer 2021 we'll actually see beta's hopper roll out for the first time, and slowly and surely we'll get up to actually launching our first commercial flight for beta. So that was a pretty good question. Thank you for that. Another question from Isaac the Swede. What do you think the chances of a successful landing is? I actually said this. I think I said this in the previous tweet. But not everyone looks at Twitter, and I obviously know that. So, obviously, not all of my predictions have been extremely correct. Because numerous problems have arose where we have errors that are unexpected arise during launches, which aren't very fun, and we have to deal with them. But all these errors can help us, like, we can prevent against it, right? So we've optimized the game a lot more for even better of a chance of landing, because mostly it is lag on Roblox. But I think the chances of a successful landing this mission is about 60-70%, but don't rely on that. I'm not very amazing at it, but as we continue, we'll definitely get more concrete percentages for landings, and almost we'll get to the point where almost every time we have to, every time we launch Gamma, we will have landings. So that's our main goal. That's not our main goal, but it is one of our goals coming up in the future, and we hope to get reusability. We hope to have a lot more reusability coming across us. We only have had one reuse with sorry, I just cut that off. But if I lost my way throughout that question, so I'm very sorry about that. If I did answer your question, it was a very good question. So if I didn't, I'm very sorry about that. And I'll answer very simply that we don't exactly know about this launch. It is probably in favor, as we have developed our technologies a lot further since when we started. But yeah, that was a pretty good question. So if anyone else has any questions about Gamma itself or Nebula as a whole, we'll be sure to answer that. I will be sure to answer that because I'm the only commentator here today, but it's not my fault. No one's fault, actually, because everyone's always, everyone has their own, schedules, and so if anyone else is watching this in the team, you guys are doing a great job. Proud of you all, and Godspeed, Gamma. All right. I'm back again. We have another question from Isaac the Swede. I'm not gonna really hold on really quick. We do see a second vent on camera, which means fueling procedures are nearly complete on the first stage. Upper stage is getting there. We'll see some venting on the upper stage pretty soon. So now for the question from Isaac the Swede. Do I know what altitude Beta will hop at first? I don't really know as of now. We haven't really thought of it. Um, if I were to think of it now, I would say to test the thrust to weight ratio. I'd like to give a hop of maybe about on the E2 engine too. I'd like to give a hop of about, I would say 500 meters. I don't really know. Maybe 150. I'm not exactly we're not exactly into that really yet, but we're getting there. So we'll have an official I'm gonna say we're gonna be below 1 kilometer at least. So we'll get to we'll confirm that completely once we get closer to Beta's testing campaign. So that's a pretty good question. Yeah, Beta's a pretty concealed campaign currently. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be a lot of questions about that, and I understand. All right. Just now I have noticed, um, I think almost everyone's noticed, but we have upper stage vents currently. So the upper stage is venting, which means we are loading propellants to the upper stage currently. We're topping off gamma currently, and we will be getting closer and closer to launch as the time counts down. In about 1 more minute, we will be having our RCS test. We have this every launch to confirm if the RCS thrusters are okay for suborbital maneuvering of the booster B1608. Yeah, so there's another question here. How large would beta would be a beta compared to a gamma rocket? Well, Um, in comparison, I don't. So we really don't think we're gonna have beta on the regular pad. Just because the launch tower is just gonna be dwarfed, and I think the launch tower and the pad could be destroyed even on launches of that. So we are gonna be using um one of our orbital pads. We're gonna change it into an actual orbital pad. It's close to the landing pads that are actually currently here. We're gonna be having a runoff into the bay. So we don't really know. I think it's gonna be close to like it's gonna be taller than Gamma. It's gonna be probably about a third of Gamma's size taller. But we'll see as we continue onward. So it was a pretty good question too. This beta, like I said earlier, beta's campaign is very concealed. So if you guys have any questions about it, it's a pretty good question. If you guys have any questions on anything Nebula related, please shoot them at about T-minus 5 minutes. I will go silent for communications so that we could just watch the launch. QV will turn up the volume. If you guys have any problems with getting shocked from the launch, in terms of like also here we go. We just had the RCS test happen. But if you guys have any questions about the launch in terms of anything, I don't really care. I will definitely be sure to answer them up until 5 minutes. So 5 minutes I'll be clearing the communications so that you guys just watch the launch. QB will be turning up the in-game volume for you guys to listen to the launch. If you guys get shocked by any loud noises, close to T0, if you guys want, you guys can turn down the volume. I really don't know how loud it's gonna be, but yeah. Oh, there's another question. Isaac the Swede. He heard of so now I've heard of Alpha. What's that? Alpha is some sort is a smaller rocket than Gamma. It is going to be launching smaller payloads to orbit. It's supposed to be an alternative. So we're gonna be going into this is like small sat launchers now. Because Gamma can't be launching small satellites. They can on rideshare missions, but we aren't going to have a rideshare mission every mission, right? So these are like 3A-SAT, for example, is a dedicated mission. So for that, Alpha is going to be used. So if you guys want to launch smaller class payloads, you guys can launch on Alpha, and we'll launch that out of Wallops Flight Facility, built by QV, who's currently actually streaming this broadcast, so props to him. Thank you QV for streaming this. That's amazing. So Alpha will be used for smaller payloads, and we'll launch that to orbit. We'll see. We're gonna be trying to reuse Alpha as well, not propulsive landings, although because it doesn't really make sense for a rocket like that. So we are gonna be using parachutes. But I'm not really gonna reveal much more of the plans currently because they're not exactly concrete. So. That's a pretty good question though too, because Alpha is actually we want to even launch Alpha before we even launch Beta, because Beta is a very, very extensive project. It's extreme, and yeah. So Alpha's testing campaign will also run alongside of Beta, so we have a lot of swapping back and forth between both rockets. So. I don't know if the camera's going to be capturing this, but we actually have some extreme condensation on the rocket now. It's pretty crazy. When you're in the game, you could really see it, but there's some extreme there's some extreme condensation going on the rocket right now. So core stage is getting topped off on propellants. Upper stage will soon follow. So far everything's doing pretty well. So we're on track for a pretty beautiful launch this afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to join the game just before, go ahead. I will be actually locking the server, so server lock, just like about maybe 2 minutes before liftoff. So you guys gotta be very careful on when you do join, because that's really an important time. A lot of people are going to be joining in on the last second, so you guys gotta be very careful. Don't join too late. But I will be server locking about T-minus 2 minutes. So thank you guys. Oh, Photon. Okay, Photon said something, but okay. Isaac the Swede says, or actually has a question. Do you have a name for your engines I use for Gamma? And if you have for Beta, please tell me that too. Alright, well actually I did mention this a tiny bit ago, but it's obviously it's a very small name, so the engines for Gamma are called E1. We actually E-1, so E1. E1 we had a static fire test in the beginning of the year for when we actually launched Gamma, not Gamma, before we actually did our first flight. So after we did our booster missions, we actually decided to do one last test we actually upgraded E1 before our first Gamma launch. So so we had that. So E1 is on Gamma. For Beta, we were thinking of using E1, but we actually switched to a whole entire new engine called E2. So E2 is going to be on Beta. There isn't really many details I'm going to release on it yet, but our next engine is E2, so that's going to be on Beta. And then E3, well, E2 is going to be on both Beta and Alpha, I'm sure. Maybe Alpha, but I don't think we need that many as powerful. So we're in the phase of discussing what we need for it. So we're gonna see, do we need multiple engines on Alpha? Do we need single engines on Alpha? We don't have a finalized design yet, so we're in that early stage, but we are still there. So thank you guys for asking these questions. If you guys have any more, I'm available up until 2 minutes. All right. So thank you all for being here. As you guys may not be able to tell, but yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the upper stage now giving off considerable amounts of condensation, which means the upper stage is actually starting to top off on fueling. So We actually have another question again. So we have, how do you slow your rocket down enough before the landing burn? The thing must be zooming, and in fact is. So, um, before landing burn, we use our directional fins, and we also have our own entry burn. But drag is a big factor for that. Um, Drag really is a huge thing that slows down the rocket in the atmosphere because the air gets thicker as you get more down. The rocket's actually a lot bigger than you think it is. So there's the engine. The engine plate is taking up a lot of the drag. Fins are too. So that's really what slows it down. We do have the entry burn, which does slow it down quite a bit and creates a little shield around it as it's entering the atmosphere. So you will see soot on the booster actually as it's coming in today. I'm positive. So that's that. So we are now at T minus 13 minutes, about 12 actually, but we are T minus 13 minutes and counting, and we are towards the end of the launch countdown, and we should see 3A-SAT lift off on time at 3 o'clock PM EST. Of course, the countdown isn't exactly always correct, as there is ROBLOX server lag, so we will see probably a 3:01 launch, but it's within the launch window, so it's not that big of a deal. So, thank you all for tuning in, using this as your secondary source for information and viewing of this launch. Just letting you guys know, actually, before I forget, you might be able to see a added crew access arm. This is because we are actually going to be launching our first crew or capsule to orbit in 2 weeks. This crew access arm will be connected to the capsule, and we will do ingress and egress procedures, escape tests, no aborts, but we're gonna be doing like an event of any problems. We will be doing, using the baskets and all that. So if anyone actually wants to apply for the astronaut program, we will be opening up applications for this again, actually, after the summer for people who want to enroll in the Crew 2 mission and the Crew 3 mission, which is going to be astronomical. Pun intended. So we have some pretty exciting upcoming missions. We have the rest of these missions, actually, well, not really the rest, but the next 3 upcoming missions are all Nebula paid. So this is our own missions that our company is running ourselves. So we are going to be running our own capsule mission station module. Our second station module is going to get set up. And then we're going to have our crew, we're going to have OFT2, Orbital Flight Test 2, which is the first crewed launch for Aurora and Gamma with our human-rated booster. I don't remember what booster it's going to be, but it will be one of them, obviously. So, hopefully, we get to reuse B1008. So B1008, I think it's human rated. I don't really know. I think it's a human rated booster because of this payload is actually pretty small. It is pretty much a duplicate or a twin of LSMS-1. Except it's communications and scanning for the Earth. So it's communications. It's repurposed for Earth orbit instead of lunar orbit. So we're very excited, and we are at T minus 10 minutes. And counting, and we are almost done with all these procedures. I think up next we'll be seeing strongback retract, so the retraction of the strongback, which is used actually to fuel the rocket, which is where all the propellants go through to fuel all these stages. I'm almost positive. So we'll see the retraction of that, and then shortly thereafter we'll see engine chill. So engine chill will be we'll see engine chill, and then after engine chill, we'll be seeing about T minus 15 seconds. We'll be seeing the activation of the water suppression system, so sound suppression, so protect the rocket from any bounce back of sound waves from the launch. and to protect any damage against the pad, because we don't want the pad to get damaged, so we can reuse it again and again and again. And the rocket, we don't want that to get damaged either. And we also have we have the after that, shortly thereafter, at T-minus 5 seconds, we have the ignition of all E1 engines. Then they will get to full power at about T-minus 2 seconds. And at T-minus 0, we'll have liftoff of Gamma, and Gamma will shortly thereafter pitch down range, do all of its orbital capabilities, showcase them, and we'll get 3A-SAT into orbit. So I can confirm that Nebula is going ahead with today's launch. If there is any abort, it is triggered by it's triggered by Gamma's system. That means that would mean there is an internal error with Gamma. We are in fact going ahead with today's launch, so expect a liftoff if everything is nominal by 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be locking the server at about T-minus 2 minutes. So if anyone is joining at that time, please get into the server before then if you guys want to join. Other than that, I'm going to be clearing the comms pretty soon. Thank you all for attending today's launch. Our ally, Astra Virtual, will be launching Rocket 3.0 today. Let me actually see what time they're launching it. I just want to mention them because they are doing their first launch today. They are doing at about... Okay, so they're T0 and they're aiming for 4:30 p.m. EST, so about an hour and 30 minutes after we launch Gamma. Astra Virtual will be launching Rocket 3.0, so I would suggest you actually go over to their own stream, because I don't think anyone will be joining their game. Not as if they're not popular, but I'm saying, like, you know, they're not allowing anyone to join their game. They're going to be just streaming. So Astra Virtual will be launching Rocket 3.0 today at 4:30 p.m. EST, so I suggest you join them I suggest you join on their stream and take a little look after this launch. They are allied with us. I will be opening up the allies channel again because we are going to be looking for some more allies. But once again, I thank you all for joining this launch. We're about T-minus 5 minutes and counting, and I'm going to be clearing the comms from now on. All right, so we'll be seeing the Stromback retract at about T-minus 4 minutes, and seriously, I thank you all so much for coming to today's launch, and I'm excited to see Gamma fly once again after a month. Right, this is my last announcement. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the retraction of Gamma Strongback, which actually just finished retracting. And from here on out, Gamma's systems are now internal. And yeah, is oh so very exciting. So the stream timer, which is just mentioned by Isaac the Swede, is not going to be correlated with the game completely. So just expect just based on these events, you will see engine chill coming up very soon actually. But we do have blast deflectors which are located on the pad, which you might not actually be able to see, but just I'm gonna be clearing the comms now. Thank you all for attending today's launch, and let's see Gamma fly. Godspeed, Gamma, and 3A-SAT. Twenty seconds. T minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ignition. 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. Liftoff of Gamma and 3A-SAT. haven't launched Gamma in a long time. It's been a month, and we're trying to come back with we're trying to come back with a nice, beautiful, perfect launch. So this is definitely so far it's very beautiful. We have Bloom expansion currently. So Bloom is expanding, Gamma is pitching over it. Once it hits about I would say it pitches over about 90 degrees, which is kind of crazy. Gamma will pitch over 90 degrees. The booster's E1 engines will shut down, and the stage will separate. So the booster will separate from the second stage, and then after that, the second stage will light its E1 vacuum engine, and shortly after, the fan will expand. Action right now. We got Gamma pitching downrange still, off the coast of Long Island, New York. This is just amazing so far. So, 3A-SAT is on its way to being more. Oh my God, that's. I'm not even gonna try anymore. You guys can make a meme out of that if you want. I really don't care at this point. It's just sad. So, yeah, everything's looking amazing so far. We are T plus 4 minutes. Gamma's pitching over still. We're, engine cutoff will follow soon. Everything is going absolutely nominal. So Gamma's about to pitch over. There we go. Alright, so Gamma's continuing downrange, and then shortly thereafter, stage separation. The second stage will continue onward, and then second stage will shut down, and then will then continue onward to circularize its orbit. I really don't know, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty long from now, so everything is going to plan. Everything's very exciting right now, and oh my God, So I'm gonna be quiet now, but oh, there we go. We have main engine cutoff. We have MECO, followed by stage separation, which is happening right now. Everything's going really well. We have SES 1, so second stage, so second engine start 1, and there you go. Everything's looking really good. So the booster will do a controlled flip. So the RCS which we've tested earlier, will do its little flip, and the booster will then head back towards the launch site, which is very exciting because that is something that we want to see. We are experiencing a boost back burn. This is great, everyone. We are doing very well. All right, so here's the moments that we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be trying to see if this booster can land, because this is something that we've been really trying so hard at. We've just been doing this for months, and we want to see our next successful landing. All right, guys. So we are seeing some we don't have any technical difficulties, so the booster looks like it might be off. We'll probably be really close to the landing zones, but obviously we haven't pinpointed the location because it's mid-flight, but I uh I hope um I hope we get a landing. So another one. I hope. All right, yeah, as predicted, the booster is a bit off. That's not the biggest of a deal. Um, oh wow, that's dangerously close to the crane. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had another landing. Of course, a bit off, but I gotta say, not as bad as other landings. Um, we are getting closer and closer as we continue onward, guys. So yeah, we landed just off. This is obviously correctable, and I expect by next launch we will actually see a landing. So, um, uh, a landing directly on the pad, but this wasn't very far off. We were very close. Um, the booster for some reason is hovering over nothingness over the water, but wow, that was insane. So great job to the team. Uh, and I'm just gonna mute myself just because I kind of want to see this for myself. Talk to my own team. Thank you guys. Okay, we have SES2. And looks like right after this, we are going to be having our payload get separated, which looks like it's going to happen in the next couple of seconds. Payload separation is confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Nebula, we thank you all for attending today's launch. Although the booster was off by it landed at least 110 feet off, about roughly 110 feet off the pad. It was a very good launch today, and I very much thank you all for attending today's launch. Expect so our next launch is going to be Crew Aurora, Orbital Flight Test 1. That is going to be an absolutely incredible launch. I can let you guys know that right now.